Tomorrow is a big honor for a Korean War veteran from Georgia. Retired Colonel Ralph Puckett Jr. is 94, and he will receive President Biden's first Medal of Honor. The retired colonel is from Columbus, Georgia, being honored for his actions in Korea in 1950. He was a first lieutenant back then. He acted as a decoy to draw enemy fire to cover his unit. It is the reason the U.S. Rangers could take more ground. The White House says he was able to fight off 5 attacks. Colonel Puckett was seriously injured in that battle. He retired from active duty in 1971, was eventually inducted into the U.S. Army Ranger Hall of Fame. The Medal of Honor is the U.S. government's highest and most prestigious military decoration. The ceremony to honor him is tomorrow.